Welcome back, y'all, and happy Tuesday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, we're going to be breaking down the film of Joey Aguilar. That's our new transfer from UCLA. He actually played at App State last season. I think most of us know that at this point, and I know that y'all came in here to see what type of a player he is. What do I think about him? I can tell you first and foremost, I think he's a pretty good option for Tennessee at this point. Obviously, it's tough to go out and get someone that's proven on the Power 4 level in this spring window. That's what we talked about as soon as Nico left. We knew that it was going to be very difficult, but I think that he's actually really, really good. I actually said that in the first video that we talked about him. I said, man, look, he actually looks really good. My biggest concern would be with those turnovers, but we will get into all that. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. So first and foremost, we're going to take a look at his stats. So this is going to be 2023 is going to be on the top. The second one is going to be 2024. So looking at his numbers, man, in 2023, obviously really, really good. First and foremost, this is a guy that's 6'3", 220 pounds. I love having bigger quarterbacks. You need that in the SEC, inside of this offense. That's why all of Coach Heupel's quarterbacks have had good size, because you need it to operate inside of the offense the way that they like to operate it. The quarterbacks need to be able to run some. You know, they need to be mobile, and Joey's definitely mobile, and you need to have a strong arm. He's got a strong arm. So he's got pretty much everything that we're looking for, and so just, I would say, I guess, number two, looking at, what he did in 2023, he threw 460 passes, and he hit 293 of them. So he was at about 64%. I think that looks pretty good. And the next category, that's just saying what his accuracy looks like if there weren't so many drops. So in 2023, he had 21 drops. His wide receivers dropped a whole lot of passes. So he would have been at about 69%, which is absolutely excellent. So very accurate. That year, he also threw for 3,700 yards. I think that looks great. 33 touchdowns, 10 picks. Those are actually pretty solid numbers, okay? Like 10 interceptions. You don't absolutely love that. But the thing about it is, I mean, the ratio, versus his touchdowns, I mean, that's not too bad. He is a gunslinger, 100%. He's a guy that I think he's got some baller to him. You want to have a quarterback that's got some baller to him. You just hope that you can clean up some of the turnovers, and we'll kind of talk about why the turnovers took place. Actually, just to let y'all know, today we will be going through his film versus Georgia State last season. We're going to go through all of his passes, okay? So good, bad, ugly. We're going to look at his interceptions, and we'll also look at all of his touchdowns, just to give you all a pretty realistic look. Obviously, it will be with that all 22. So next, the air raid. So that's just talking about how much of his yards and all of that came from his actual passes. Like, it wasn't for the yak. It was just based off of his arm. Like, hey, I threw the ball, what it say, 50 yards on this play, and then they ended up running another 50, so that would put him at 50% there, right? So it's just talking about how much of his yardage was actually from him. So at 62%, that's a good number. I think anything over 60, really anything over about 55, that's good. What this means, y'all, is that it wasn't, his yards didn't really come from a whole bunch of screens and things like that. He's able to throw the football down the field. So next, he got sacked 19 times in 2023. His rush numbers, they weren't, it's not going to wow you. From 2023 to 2024, he rushed anywhere from about 3.1 to 3.5 yards per carry, which is good enough. You just need to have a quarterback that is a threat to run. Now, again, 6'3", 220, he's a solid guy. He's a strong guy. So that's a big deal, especially if you can get him out on that edge. The cornerbacks and stuff is going to be a little bit more difficult for them to tackle a guy that's not just pretty big, pretty sturdy, but is also strong. So his rating was 151.6. So last season, took a step back. You can see he was at 55.9%, almost 56%. As far as all the drops, 19 drops from his wide receivers. So he only would have been at 61%. Again, looking at that, they're looking at those picks, 14 picks last season. That was my really, that was really the only holdup that I had from him when we first talked about him. Is, man, he's got to take better care of that football. But as I've been going through more film, you understand that his offensive line wasn't absolutely great. So that could be part of it, but there are definitely some fundamental things that we'll talk about. So 3,000 yards, all right, 23 touchdowns, 14 picks. And as far as sacks, he was sacked less, 15 sacks. Part of that, is just because they're working on a whole lot more quick game stuff from 2023 to 2024. I think the Tennessee needs to do the exact same thing. And you can see his rushing numbers. You can see his overall rating. So what I'm going to do real quick while y'all just kind of looking at that, I'm going to get to some of these chats. And this right here is from Miss Terry's Bathwater. Thank you for being first. Saying Joey Swagular. I definitely like that one. I think that he's got some swag to him. He's got a whole lot of confidence. gunslingers will be confident. I know that whenever you say gunslinger, a lot of folks think, hey, they're going to throw a whole bunch of picks, which can be true, but you could be a gunslinger and not throw a whole lot of picks. It just means that you have confidence. To me, it means that you have confidence in your arm and you'll throw it into some tighter windows. That's what you need if you want a baller playing quarterback, if you want to win the game in those, fourth quarter situations. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's coming down to that last drive, you got to have the confidence to be able to throw those passes, but you also have to hit on them because that can make or break you. So this right here from David Speaks saying he likes that Joey Swagular. Yeah, I like that one for sure. And this one is from Gangsta saying that what got me how many interceptions he threw. Yeah, for sure. That's a little bit concerning. So from Big Dogs Gotta Eat, saying happy Tuesday, everyone. Yeah, for sure. Hope that everyone's having a great day. From Andrew saying it sounds like we are going to have a good quarterback competition this. Excuse me. We're going to have a good quarterback competition this fall. Mark isn't going to just roll over. And I think that you hit that spot on. I definitely think this is a open competition just because as we go through it, y'all will see. Joey's got a whole lot of talent, but so do the other guys inside of that room. But he still has a little bit of a ways to go. But so do the other ones. So it will be a quarterback competition. Now, he's the older guy. He's the oldest guy inside of that room, but he's also pretty much working on short notice. So if he can get things figured out, he might be able to win it. But like I said, I don't think that the other two quarterbacks are just going to go away lightly. So that could definitely be a positive thing for Tennessee. This right here is from Levi Bond saying that App State was buns last year. He had no help 100%. Yeah, he didn't really. I'm going to tell you, though, his wide receivers, they dropped some passes, but I think that they did a good job too. You know, like there's some pretty talented wide receivers on that team. But yeah, the offensive line, that was the biggest concern for me. And from right here, David Speaks is saying that Tony B made a good point that schemes low percentage interception throws. Oh, okay. I think that you're talking about Tennessee scheme. Yeah, Tennessee scheme. Yeah, I would say that is true, but I don't know if that necessarily translates to everybody. I think that the real thing here is not so much Tennessee's scheme that keeps the interceptions low. I think it's more the quarterback coaching. If you look at all of Tennessee's quarterbacks, they all have really good fundamentals, all of them. I mean, it's excellent. So I think that's more of the reason for it. This right here is from DB Brown. All right, saying that I feel Joe Milton had a gunslinger mentality, but also had a cannon. So for me, Joe Milton, I wouldn't call him a gunslinger, and I understand what you're saying. He had a really strong arm, but Joe wasn't necessarily one of those guys. You'll see what a gunslinger looks like here in just a minute. I promise you, where you're throwing it into coverage. There is a difference. Like I just said, Tennessee's quarterback coaches, whether that's Heupel, whether that's Halsley, do a beautiful job of telling the players, hey, like these are situations that we're throwing to. If it looks a certain type of way, you're going to run it. That's something that I think that Joey will learn once he, gets more time inside the Tennessee system. This one is from Stingray. What's going on, Stingray? Saying that glad it's over. We can support Joey and the team 100%, man. I mean, we got these guys back. Joey's going to get a great opportunity to come and play for the best university on the face of this planet. Okay, this is the best fan base on the face of this planet. I don't think he's ever played in a stadium like Neyland. Obviously, SEC, it's going to be crazy every single week. So he's going to get a taste of that. I really. People go back and forth on, hey, did Tennessee win or did Nico win? I think that Joey Halsley won. I'm sorry. I think that Joey Swagular won. And I could also say that UCLA, they just went out and got two really good quarterbacks too, at least two very talented quarterbacks. So this is a really big situation for him. He's going to get to show and prove what he can do on the highest level outside of the NFL to all the scouts. So that should be some good motivation for him. This one is from B. Riz. Sorry to keep you waiting, saying that I have high hopes. I wish things with Nico could have been different, but that's behind us. Yeah, look, it's time to move 100% forward now. And I know that we'll probably always come back to Nico some, but we got to move forward. So this one is from Cameron Deshaun T, saying that I think people are bashing Joey too hard. We can question the turnover issues, but I feel like Heupel system aids the turnover woes. Love his deep ball, mobile, fits our system, just correct the turnovers. All right, so we're going to stop it right there, okay? So now it's time for us to actually jump inside of the film of this, okay? So we're going to pull this up, man, and we are going to start off with his game versus Georgia State. So the reason that I chose Georgia State is this is one of his better passing games, and also because it's equal to the level of competition, right? So playing at App State, everyone points to that Clemson game. They were outmatched. I mean, that's not even a fair – you can't get a real gauge on them, even though I'm going to tell you, I watched that. He had some good throws. He had some bad ones, but he also had some really, really good ones. So it does show me that he can throw it into the, into the power 4 level windows. Okay, so we're going to start off right here with just a couple of runs. So these are the runs that he had in this game. It's just read option, just so that y'all can get a feel for how he looks operating this. You got to be able to do it inside of Tennessee system. You just absolutely have to. Again, he's not going to be the fastest guy. He's got a little bit of wiggle to him. I mean, I would say it's more savviness than it is wiggle. But he can definitely get some things done. He will be a threat with his legs. Teams have to honor it if he's about to pull it. So we're gonna go right here. Okay, so now we're starting off with these passing plays. This is the first one. So this is a 3rd and 3. First and foremost, pay attention to the routes and things like that. This is not very similar to what Tennessee does. Now, that pistol, we will see pistol. We know Tennessee's going to be, at least, we've heard that Tennessee's been practicing pistol. We don't know if we're actually going to run it in those games, but he runs pistol in this film. So that's a good thing that at least he's acclimated to that. But those really wide splits, they're not doing that. Okay. They also, I don't think that they're running tempo. These plays didn't look like they were with tempo, but that little red circle that you'll see on most of these, that's where the ball is going to be thrown to. So we're going to the post on that back side, and we'll go ahead and let this thing roll. So, all right, let's see what we got on this first one here. Okay, so this is just a straight drop. Okay, does a good job seeing this guy, right? Sees this guy. That's a pretty accurate pass right over the middle. So we'll see it again from this end zone angle. All right, boom. Like I said, it's not a whole lot simple here. So here you can see that the ball is a little bit low. This is a catchable pass. You should be able to catch this, but it is a little bit low. I think that whenever you're throwing the ball over the middle, you'd rather it be low than high. So that's the place. If you're going to miss anywhere, miss low, don't miss high. So I'm not upset about that. Obviously, the wide receiver is able to catch the football and get up the field, get you a couple more yards, right? So this next run here, we have an RPO backside slant. All right, you can see where the football is going. All right, so this is the end zone copy. Okay, got the motion coming out of the backfield. You can see it right here. Boom. Again, it's a little bit low. Okay, that's either a slant or that's a bang aid. Either way, the ball is just a little bit low. This is not a terrible thing. It's catchable. You can see that the wide receiver is going to make this catch. He's able to fall forward, get us a little bit more yardage. Perfectly fine. So this one, I actually really like this play. Again, pay attention to the route combinations. This is how offenses are supposed to look. So the motions coming across the formation, the tight end is going to hit a seam here. That's where the ball is going. All right, so boom, the ball is just overthrown. We'll see it again from this end zone copy, okay? We'll see it again from this end zone copy. And Tennessee doesn't run a whole lot of seams, but we will run it some. And I've seen him be, he's hit these passes some. He's been inconsistent some, but you can see, hopefully y'all can see, that the ball is just a little bit high, right? But this should have been 6. This most definitely should have been 6. That's a pretty easy pass. I think that once he gets with Coach Halsey and everything else, Coach Halsey with Coach Heupel, and gets his fundamentals down, he works that rep stat, and it turns into habits, then those are the types of passes that he will hit on. The bigger question for me is, can Tennessee go back to scheming people wide open just like that? Because we did it a whole lot in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. We're still doing it, just not on as high on as high of a clip as we did previously. So this one right here, you can see that they're going to try to target that fade on the outside on that left side. So first and foremost, pay attention to this wide receiver. He's going to kill his cornerback off the line of scrimmage. And this will make sense as we kind of go through it. But my whole point just with highlighting this is that Joey knows his players. Okay, he knows his wide receivers. He knows, I think, that he knows that, hey, this cornerback in press coverage, he can't hold my guy. So watch what happens as he goes through this. And this is why you want to have more time with your teammates so that, you know what players you can trust like this. So Joey does a great job here of looking the safety off. You can see the safety there. He's going to push that safety over with his eyes. Now, boom, he's going to come back to the left side, sees, hey, I've got a guy wide open just like I thought, but at least he made sure first. Now, pay attention to this pass, okay? This is a big-time throw. Big-time throw. That's a very small window, and that's, close to probably, like a 45, 55-yard pass in air. But he drops that right inside of the bucket. So this is what he can do. You know what I mean? He's a guy that most definitely has the arm talent to get things done. It's just he has to be a little bit more consistent. So, boom, you can see it again here. Very, very well placed football. You know what I'm saying? He maybe could have thrown it a little bit more to the outside, take the wide receiver from that safety, but that one's fine. Obviously, they were able to make that catch. So y'all can see what the route combinations look like here. My bad. Didn't mean to pause that so early. So on this one, we're going to have a slot fade, and it's going to be man-to-man coverage with this with that nickel back right there. Of course, this is man. This is one high look. Okay. So boom, we're throwing this one. This is what I'm talking about with being consistent. This one, Okay, this one is thrown behind that wide receiver. He had the beat on that corner. If the ball is thrown high to the upside, as we'll see here, this one right here, this could have been 6. Now, the other thing that I've noticed just in watching film with Joey is that whenever he feels that pressure, he'll stand in there, he'll throw it. But I think that the problem is he's very inconsistent with the accuracy of his passes with that pressure, right? It feels like most of his picks that we'll take a look at here coming up shortly came from that pressure being really, really close to him, kind of closing out. So instead of him throwing it out of bounds or, maybe trying to move around because he'll stay inside the pocket most of the time. Instead of him trying to vacate, maybe make something happen with his legs or something like that, he'll stand in there, try to make the throw, and they're typically not going to be very accurate. So, he also stared down his wide receiver on this one, which, probably didn't have too much of a bearing on this play because this is the safety. I'm going to show you. This is the safety that was coming from the middle, right? So that's the safety there. This green area, okay, that green area is where the ball should have been placed. Throws it a little bit behind, but it's still pretty catchable. If you have some ballers playing wide receiver, they can make those catches. Love this route combination. You got 2 verts on the outside, deep comeback from the slot, then you got a drag. I mean, drag's going to be freaking open because you're running off coverage. I just think the Tennessee needs to do more of that. But this is pretty much just pitch and catch. I'm hoping that, again, Tennessee does more of this. I think that we need to do more of this. And actually, sorry about that. I said that it was pitch and catch. It actually wasn't. This is a situation where he actually chose to throw it to the outside. It should have been pitch and catch, really, because he could have hit this drag. And I'll highlight that for you. Definitely could have hit this. This was here. Okay. So, he elects not to throw that. But, he tries to fit it into this tight window down the field. That's gunslinger. You're not scared to throw it down the field into some tighter coverage. And we will see it again. You'll see that the ball just kind of sails on him. And there, to me, looking at his fundamentals and stuff, it looks pretty solid. Okay, now there are some things that the real quarterback gurus like we have up on campus, they'll be able to tell, hey, this step was a half an inch off. Like, that's how it is. These coaches on this college level and higher than that, they're really going to, they're looking at really small details. So maybe he was like a half an inch off with one of his steps. But either way, this ball sails out of bounds. Okay. So that one wasn't very accurate. Now, this one, I really like this. This is going to that dig. This is something that Tennessee does a lot of. We run a whole lot of digs. Okay. And this is very accurate. So, boom, steps into it. That's a very good throw. Like, you can see he's throwing it in between all these people, and it's right on the money. He's got a lot of zip on that pass that looked like an NFL throw. You know what I mean? So we'll see it again from this end zone angle. Pay attention to his footwork. Looks good there. Gets his hips into it. You can see it again, right? All these people, this window that he has to throw it into, and really the ball gets there. See, this is what I was talking about, guys. With there's you can throw the ball 50 yards, right? Like, it might just be us outside playing Thanksgiving football or something, right? We could throw it 50 yards, but can you throw it 50 yards on a rope? Now, this isn't 50 yards, but the ball gets there so fast that this wide receiver, he's barely getting out of his break. He can get the football there right now. That's the sign of a strong arm. Okay, puts it in a really really tight window. I think that looks good. So here we're gonna go to, looks like either this post or this bang gauge. You can also see the depth of these routes down at the bottom. So this is actually, I think that this is an RPO. And what I'm just kind of highlighting here is that Joey is going to look off. I think that it's that safety. It could be one of those linebackers, but you got to look them off. You have to see, are they going to sit inside this passing window, or do they bite up on this run? Like we kind of talked about with this safety. Well, I will go on ahead and highlight with this safety. You see him kind of vacating, right? So he's backing up, and we've got we've got the window that we can fit this football into. So boom, go ahead and let it roll. Very accurate pass. Obviously, it's not a very deep pass, but it's accurate. Okay, and watch what he does here with his feet off of his end zone copy. Okay, eyes are right. Watch his feet here. Okay, flip him. Boom. Okay, squares his hips, gets his hips into the throw. Very accurate. So there are some things that he does well. You can tell that he's been taught it. He's just got to continue to rep it and all that. So this is a red zone situation. I actually like this one too. This is out of the pistol. Gadget guy, that could be Boo running that. I know that we're not talking about that, but that's who that could be. Obviously, not a whole lot to break down here. The pass was accurate. Playmakers got to make plays. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to have guys who can make plays this season. I'm definitely expecting that. So this right here looks like a screen. This is going to be a quick screen. See the motion coming across. This is something that Tennessee does a lot of. This is from that short side, but I like how quick his throwing motion can be. He can get out there quick, right? With boom, throw it, and it gets there now. You got to be able to do that inside of Tennessee system. Boom, ball's there now. Okay, accurate. Obviously not a very deep pass, but there's still something to be said about some of these routine passes. Here, we've got that seam is where we're going to throw this one. See what we do with it. So, boom. Hits him right in stride. Okay, hits him right in stride. What does that mean? It means that your guys can make plays after the catch. Hit him in stride so that they can make something happen. Steps back, boom. So look, throwing it over two guys' head. Okay, you got to be able to spin it. Got to be able to spin that football to get it over these people's heads and to drop it right inside of that little green spot that we have highlighted. Okay, so he definitely got some skills, man. He definitely does. You see the flashes. The talent's there. There's no question. Talent's definitely there. All right, so here, man, we've got 3 runoffs on that right side, and we've got a backside bang aid. Okay, so we're going to throw it here. I actually love this. This is something that Tennessee has done previously. I hope that we can get back to it where you just run these 3 verts, kind of show that fake pitch there, get some guys to bite up, got a guy wide open. You got to be able to hit these too. Can you hit a wide open guy? A lot of folks talked about that from last season. Can you hit the wide open folks? I think that he can do that. I don't think that we're going to have too much trouble there. Right, just kind of lofted up there, nice and easy. Wide receiver probably need to stay on his feet, but that's really neither here nor there. This is going to be another screen. I think this might be a tunnel screen. Okay, so I would love for Tennessee to run some of this. We just don't run it very much. All right, so he can definitely operate this. Again, we're going through all of his passes. This is in sequence. It is in order. We're not skipping nothing. We're gonna go through all of them. Right, so he's able to hit a guy in stride, a little bit of pressure in his face, but hits the guy in stride. He's able to make a play. Okay. Guys will be able to make plays if you hit them in stride. So let's see what we got on this one. All right, stepping back pocket looks pretty clean, but there's no one open down the field. So he's able to kind of get out of the pocket there, throws the ball out of bounds. Love to see that, right? We can see it here. Everyone's covered up, right? Everything's covered up. You got the safety over the top of really 2 routes. You don't feel too comfortable throwing any of these passes. Now, we will see with some of the picks. He'll try to throw like I'll show you here. He'll try to hit some of these he'll try to hit this guy. You know what I mean? He will try it, and that's when he kind of runs into some trouble because that's an extremely difficult pass. So I would much rather him do something like this. He also had some pressure coming, and he definitely felt that, but he's able to get outside of it and keep the ball out of harm's way. So this is the 2nd and 10. All right. Again, I really like their route combinations. I hope that maybe he'll bring some of the route combinations with him. So here he's got some pressure coming up the middle again. Okay. And this is what we were talking about. As the pressure is coming, this ball is not going to be very accurate. Now, the wide receiver is there. There is a window. This is not an easy pass. I'm not saying that this is easy, but he's got the talent that he can make this throw. Okay, and you can see that the ball is just kind of overthrown, right? And this is also dangerous. You've got 3 guys in that area. So, that's how he lives, man. He's going to live dangerous. And hopefully, again, man, we can just get him to be more consistent with when he does that, with when he's taking chances. All right, so right here, we've got a running back screen. All right, got the screen. This is a 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10. Good job of drawing that pressure to him, giving that running back a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Giving him a little bit more of an opportunity to kind of get up the field. Obviously running back's making something happen there, but I think that was a pretty accurately thrown football. So he's throwing to the out on this one, to the out that's on the left side. He's going to throw this. And, there's some funny things that he does with his footwork here that I definitely picked up on. And you'll see it from this end zone copy. So, boom, right here. You don't want your feet to be this close together. Okay, these are little things. He was able to make this throw. This is, he's actually able to get his hips into it. He's going to step, get his hips rocking. But, you just got to be careful. You got to be very, very consistent on this level because those types of passes, as we will see, they can get intercepted and those turn into pick sixes. All right. So here he's going to hit this drag on a drive concept. Love this concept. This is somebody's always there. You know what I mean? See that daggum drag is wide open, but that's just easy pitch and catch. Not a lot for me to break down here. Just easy pitch and daggum catch, right? Running everything off. You can see that he's doing this throw, or he's throwing this football with the pressure, closing in on him. So that's not bothering him. You know what I'm saying? He's able to be very, very accurate there. And that's what can happen whenever you give your quarterback some check down options, and they can, you know what I mean? They don't have to try to throw the ball all the way down the field with pressure in their face. That's what's tough. All right. So, same thing here. It's a drag to the other side. I also like the fact of, hey, if you guys are showing that you're going to stay in the same look and you ain't stopping what we're doing, we're going to keep on sticking to it. But, that's not the point of this. The point is just Joey, right? But that was a very accurate pass. So here, that's a chair combination, right? Whenever you got the out coming from the slot and you've got the go coming from the outside, right? So boom, that was a well thrown ball that's just dropped. So we're gonna see it again here. Again, just routine stuff. How does he look doing normal stuff? How does he look with the normal 1s and 2s? You got to be able to operate that first and foremost. But this is this is dead on. This is spot on. Guys have to make catches. I would expect that our guys will be making those catches. So we're in the red zone here. Okay. Red zone situation here. Watch this pass. I think that y'all are really going to like this. Actually, you know what? It's not this one. This is a different one. So this one, I don't know if he's throwing this away or if he's trying to throw it to the guy in the back of the end zone, but you will see here that everything's pretty much covered up. And again, he stays inside of the pocket. Everything's covered up. He's trying to find his reads and all that, or he's going through his reads, but he's going to stay inside of the pocket. This is a good thing, or at least it can be good pocket presence there. Feels the pressure kind of coming in, right? He's going to kind of fall away, fall into his front there. And this ball, as y'all will see, ends up right there. Obviously, there's a wide receiver to the left of that. Was he really trying to throw it there, or is he intentionally throwing that out of bounds? If he's throwing that out of bounds, brother, throw it like way higher than that. Okay, throw it into the second row of those bleachers. You know what I'm saying, or of the stands up there. That will be my only thing. Just don't even give people a daggum chance to get a pick there. But that's what gunslingers do. Like, they have that confidence that they'll just try to fit it in there. But again, I don't know if that's what he was trying to do or what. But this one here, this is a daggum dot. This is a daggum dot. You can see it a lot better from this angle. So he's going to look this safety off. And he does a great job with this. Whenever he knows that he's got to go deep, let me look that safety off, hold him. Look him off, hold him, and just drop it into the bucket. Very accurate, for the most part. It's inconsistent, but he can be very accurate down the field. You just never really know what you're going to get on a play-in, play-out basis. All right, so we got this one. I'm really not even sure exactly what this is. Let's take a look. Oh, okay, so this is a trick play. So this is some trickeration. This one he is throwing out of bounds is because that one's not there. So we'll see it again. You see that they kind of switch spots. The running back and the quarterback switch spots, fake that jet sweep, and then nothing's there. Everything's covered up. Take care of the football. Love to see that. So we got some more running off drag coming from that backside, and it looks like this is the one that I was talking about, where this is a really nice throw. Okay, look at this throw, dude. I mean, he's fitting this. That's a tied window in the end zone. This is what gunslingers do. That's not an easy throw. Some quarterbacks would shy away from making this throw, but he's got the confidence in his arm that he will take this chance. And it looks like things do pay off for him. Very well placed football. That's an NFL throw. NFL scouts, whenever they see throws like that, drooling over it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Heupel and Halsey looking at that and say, "Oh, hell yeah, we can work with this." Look at that ball placement. Look at that daggum ball placement. That is beautiful. That's gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. So, hey, I think that if we can scheme it up, man, he can make all the throws. Here, he's going to throw it to that left side hook. All right, left side hook here. So he's looking over here. So he wanted to go to this out, the guy that we have highlighted, wanted to go there, but what he sees is that cornerback is squatting. The cornerback's squatting, and he's got eyes on Joey. So you don't want to throw this pass because that could be a pick six. Love this. Love to see him doing this. Hey, that's not there. Give him the time. He's going to go through his reads. And he comes back and he's able to kind of flick his wrist, and whole lot of power really with this throw too. Watch this from the end zone angle. See him stepped up there, moving on over. Let me get to some open green grass. Kind of a different slot that he's throwing from here. Body's kind of off there. This is pretty much all arm. You see he's stepping into it some, but it's going to be probably tough for y'all to see this now. But boom, ball gets there. He didn't even follow through with that throw. Very, very strong arm. That's 100% facts. It's definitely a very, very strong arm. So here, also love that this route combination. Give guys a daggum chance. You know what I'm saying? Give them a daggum chance. And so nothing's there. You know what I'm saying? But I like what they were trying to do here. So we can see it again. Right? Nothing's there, standing inside of the pocket. I'm going to try to vacate here. He feels the pressure coming in his face, but watch him. Does a good job of being able to get it off. That's something else that I will say. Whenever he's feeling the pressure, he has a savviness, and he has a knack for being able to get those passes off. That's another really, really good thing. I don't think he's going to have to deal with that too much this season, though. All right? So throwing this one down the field. Now, this one is a pick. Okay, this is intercepted, but it's going to get called back. So there you see these looking things off. Okay? Looking off, he's going to come back to his left, to our right. Okay, so that green area is where the ball should have been thrown. That's where it should have been. But it's going to end up obviously where that safety is, right? So this was another situation where the pressure kind of gets to him, and it's just almost. I mean, I guess outside of the pressure kind of getting to him, I just didn't see too much with his fundamentals. Maybe he's not following through with his throws enough, but he does have a tendency whenever that pressure comes, he doesn't get enough on these deeper passes, and that's where he runs into some major trouble. And that's what happens here. And if you watch that ref, they're going to get that PI call, and that takes away that interception. So, he actually threw like 16 interceptions, but 2 of them were called back, so it was technically only 14. All right, so we'll see what he does here. This is basic routine stuff. Now, from that angle, it looks like that ball's a little bit too high. Obviously, they were able to make the catch. But if you look at it again from this angle, you say, well, maybe he was worried about these guys getting underneath this route and pick six. And I'm fine with that if that's what he was thinking. That's perfectly fine. You see that the ball is a little bit high, but it's still catchable. So, that was all hitches. Tennessee runs a whole lot of, that type of a concept, especially with Tennessee's run pass option game. So right here we have a post. We're going to throw it to this post play action. I think he does a good job of sticking that one in there. Ball is accurate. Ball is accurate there. Stick it in there. You know what I'm saying? Get him to bite up some. And this is very, very well placed. You know what I'm saying? Very well placed football. So he can operate well. You know what I'm saying? Off the play action, which we will be doing inside of the pistol. It's going to look more like that, where you can really, stick your head down and all that, really give a real fake. I think that that's going to be very beneficial. And right here, man, obviously this one just kind of speaks for itself. Get the ball to your playmakers out in the flats, and just kind of, let's see what they can do. They get into the end zone. This next one is a 2-point conversion. As y'all can see, this is in the fourth quarter. So they're just trying to, add on to their lead. And this is, kind of like a boot, but it's definitely a sprint out. You got everyone moving to one side of the field. Pretty much everything's covered up. There's not any great windows. What I love here is whenever you're in that red area, like whenever you're in that goal line area, let your quarterback use his daggum legs. He ain't afraid to do that because he's a bigger guy. He can run through some of these safeties and cornerbacks that he's going to get matched up with in this area. Actually ran through a linebacker there, it looks like. So, that's going to be it for that portion of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that portion of it. I think, again, just kind of watching all the plays from that game, I like what I saw. I think that there's several positive things. We got something that we can definitely work with. And because he is an older guy, you would anticipate that he's not going to be as rattled in some of these bigger situations, but he hasn't really been in a lot of the bigger situations. So that's going to be one of my things. Can he handle the pressure of being Tennessee's quarterback on the biggest stage? That's going to be one of the biggest things. So I'm going to get to some of these chats, and then we're going to take a look at some of the interceptions, or all the interceptions from last season. And then we will also take a look at the touchdowns as well. Let me get the P right here. We got my brother P in here, and he's saying that if Halsley, yes, for sure, he can be really good. He throws with good anticipation, and he is tough. I think that our pass game will be better than last season. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a possibility that it definitely could be. And actually, P, I think that you said it best that Nico had a crazy high talent ceiling, so it'll be hard to replicate that talent. But as far as what he did with his numbers, as far as things like that, I think that Tennessee can maybe do better than that. You know what I'm saying? So we will see. So I'm gonna try to get some more chats, but I gotta see exactly where we are at. Let me see this next one right here. So this right here is from B Red, saying that he has high hopes and that his motions are fluid and that he is pretty quick with reads. If he can get the offense down, we'll be good. Yeah, I think that that's a really, really good point. See, his reads look really quick on this film, but understand that App State's offensive system is different from what Tennessee's system. And this is why I've said so many times that we've got to do more underneath stuff. Like with the film breakdown that we did talking about the 2022 offensive flow or play calling, pass play calling versus 2024. You could just tell, like in 2022, a lot more underneath stuff, which means that the quarterback can operate quicker because it's not taking wide receivers longer to get open. We got to do more of that. And hopefully it feels like, just from watching the orange and white game, that is what Tennessee's leaning back towards. Everything can't be always vertical. So from Miss Terry's Bathwater is saying that have our betting odds changed at all? Dropped from 9.5 to 8.5. Wondering if Vegas has moved us since Swaggy J was signed. I have no idea. So I don't typically even look at those betting odds until we get into the season. I really only just do that for video content purposes, just because I'm not a big bettor at all. So I don't know. And I also take that stuff kind of with a grain of salt. How many people had Tennessee making the playoffs last season? Not very many. I mean, if you look at just anybody. Not many people had Tennessee making it to the playoffs last year. P and I, we were the only two that I can think of, like early on, like preseason, that said Tennessee, we feel like we can make it. So people just really don't know. Like, they're going off with some other stuff. And so this right here is saying that hopefully Aguilar. All right, we're going to get to some more from Levi Bonds, and Nico's dad left us in a tough spot, but we aren't changing our expectations. This roster is a CFP roster. So I think that we've got a lot of talent. I'm not going to say I just said it the last season. I felt like, P and I looked at this roster early on and we said, hey, we can make it. I feel like that roster was good enough that maybe we could have won the whole thing. Personally, I'm just going to speak for myself. I base that a lot off of Nico's talent ceiling. Whenever you have a quarterback that can operate on that has the physical tools to operate on an extremely high level, then that's gonna change some things. I think we've got some guys that have a lot of talent, but can they put it all together when it counts? That's going to be my biggest question. Quarterback, I know as much as people want to say whatever. Quarterback is the most important position on a football team. You cannot there's no way to sugarcoat that. You got to have a quarterback that can ball. I just don't think that Tennessee's roster is necessarily strong enough like some of these, like a Texas or like a Oregon or like a Buckeyes or like UGA, and I hate to even bring up UGA, but their rosters are strong enough that all they need is a game manager. I think that our roster could be that way, but at this point, I don't personally see it that way. A lot of people are going to have to step up. Hopefully they take that as a challenge and they step up. If they step up to the plate, okay, if everyone gets bought in, then hell yeah. I mean, I'm never going to say never. So this is also from Miss Terry's Bathwater saying I have to credit David for the nickname I stole it. Yeah, that was a good one. So from Eric29 saying I think the refs could have called DP on defensive pass interference on every play in that Clemson game. Yeah, man, and that's the other part of it too. I definitely kind of noticed that they were mugging those wide receivers. All right, so from G4 saying that take some of the Nico money and throw it to wide receiver from BYU and the defensive tackle from Syracuse, GBO. Yeah, I definitely think that we have to do some of that. The wide receiver from San Jose State, I think he chose Louisville, which, I mean, dude, take some more visits. You pulled the trigger way too quick. You're going to go freaking Louisville. You could have came here and been a freaking star. I don't understand that. But, yeah, I mean, and also the guy from BYU, everyone's after him. So he might be tough for us to get. You know what I'm saying? I think that I love what we have inside of the wide receiver room, but I do feel like we need some more bodies. But he would have been a great one. From Scotty Ball saying that, did you see that Trevor Duncan is done with football, medically retired? I did see that, man, and that broke my heart last night seeing that. I was talking to P about it where it was like, what in the world's going on here? That breaks my heart. Absolutely hate to see it. Just from playing football, I've seen a couple of players have to go through that. That's a tough deal. Especially looking at how great he looked. I think that he looked really good. Really good for all of spring. Really, really good last season. Whenever he got his opportunities, I think that he looked great there too. I'm not going to say great, but I think that for a freshman, he looked really good. So he could have helped this team out in a major way. Hopefully, he's going to stay close to this program. I'm sure that he will. But yeah, man, absolutely hate to see that. So let's go on to the next one right here from my dog T and Junior saying it late, but they finally notified me. Yeah, I already know, man. You know what? YouTube does that to me as well sometimes. So also from T and Junior saying that he looks okay and can get better with right coaching for sure. And saying that he's got instincts and confident almost to a fault. Yeah, which I'm good with, and that they'll get him squared away for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, y'all, is I'm going to go on ahead and pull up. Okay, and you're going to have to bear with me. Okay, you got to bear with me, but we will pull up the interceptions. Okay, and we're just going to kind of go through that. You know what I mean? Let me get it all ready. Bear with me. But yeah, so this right here, I think obviously will give us a little bit more of a, because I don't want to just paint this picture that, hey, he's perfect. Again, I think that this game versus Georgia State, that one looked really, really good. But that's not going to be like an all the time deal. So getting it pulled up now, getting this thing pulled up right now. And okay, boom. Right here. Okay, so let me start the thing over. All right, so this is how the first play looks. Okay, he's throwing it to that corner route, whatever, smash route, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so see, boom, you can see him falling off of his daggum back foot. Okay, he's throwing it. The boom, pressure's in his face. He's fading away. This is what you can't do. You know what I'm saying? This is where he's going to have to get more acclimated to. Don't stand in the pocket here. Get outside of the pocket, and this is a much easier pass. And really, even if you look at the defense, I mean, this really isn't there. This is a tough pass. I mean, look at this. Got a guy there. That is a very, very tough pass. So, all right, we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. He threw it. He threw it to the other guy on that one. So actually, he was throwing it to that backside. That backside crossing route. So we can see it again here. And actually, that was there. He just kind of throws it behind the wide receiver because he's throwing it off of his back foot. So let's see what we got here. Okay. And this is versus Eastern Carolina. I'm sure that y'all can see that. So, again, kind of fading away, throwing it. You can see it better here. You know what I mean? Fading away, trying to throw this. I mean, that's just why would you even throw this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you even consider throwing? I mean, look at all the bodies up there. See it again here. I mean, boom, like look at all that muck up there, right? So this is where the ball is coming in this area. I mean, come on. So he definitely has to work on that. All right. And we'll just kind of like let this stuff kind of play out some more. We'll see it again from here, kind of moving away from that pressure. He's got a strong arm. That just wasn't a very, and then the safety's coming over too. That just wasn't a very smart throw. So that's something that Tennessee can most definitely help him get fixed. Here's looking to the right. He's under pressure. Can't do this. I mean, you can't throw late to the outside. You just cannot do that. You got to get this thing out of there. Trust his arm, just like T and Junior said, almost to a fault. So boom. Yeah, that one hurts. That one right there hurts. I mean, I don't want to see that for sure. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to work on it. You can live and die by these gunslingers, man. So we're gonna see here. Throwing this one out to the flag. This one isn't his fault. I mean, this one isn't his. This is not his fault at all. This is an accurately thrown football. People have to hold on to the ball, right? So that one's not his fault, but I did want to show it to you, right? So we've got another out. Got another out. He's throwing it up top. That's just I don't know what he sees here. I mean, you can't throw this. This is not open. Guys, this is not open, okay? I mean, there's no way, there's no planet that this is open. Trusting his arm to a fault. You can't make those types of throws. He's gonna have to trust his legs a little bit more. Okay. Hey, if this isn't, my goodness. Yeah, you just can't throw that. But yeah, if that's not there, you're gonna have to use your daggum legs, man, or throw the ball out of bounds. Let's live the fight for that next down. Here you can see the pressure's kind of getting to him, and you don't want to do this. Like you don't want to be fading away, throwing the ball to the middle. I mean, come on, stop it. Yeah, like you don't ever want to do that. So I mean, it's these are things that we can definitely coach him out of. That's the whole point here, is that we can definitely coach him out of this. Now, someone talked about Milton being a gunslinger. Watch this throw. Actually, it's not even that one, but this one, even still, that's not enough air under that ball. He doesn't throw it far enough. And again, you feel that he feels that pressure coming. He has a tendency not to get that extra bit of oomph into that throw with the pressure. Can't have this. This is the SEC, baby. You're going to have to throw that thing high and throw it in. Let me also say this, because see, what Tennessee's quarterbacks do a very good job of, and people say, "Oh my gosh, we're always overthrowing people." But that you would rather this pass be overthrown than underthrown. This is what throwing some of these passes right on the money gets you. It's going to get you interceptions. Okay, you got to throw it in a spot. You've got to throw it in a safe spot that only your guy can go make a play. So some of that stuff, I mean, wide receivers, go and make a play. All right. So we need our wide receivers to go out and make plays. Hopefully we're gonna teach them. Hey, throw it up, let them go run up on it. Now, look, this is a very deep pass, but this is the one I was talking about. Where whenever you talk about Milton and you're saying, well, thought that he was a gunslinger, watch. I mean, look at this, dude. That's insane. Just attempt to throw that pass. Watch it again from this end zone. Like, this is insane. And he just trusts his arm to a fault. Keep on saying, dude. And the craziest thing about this, y'all, this is actually an accurate pass. Like it's actually there. It actually hits his wide receiver right in the hands, and he doesn't come down with it. That's the crazy thing. But that's a pass that you really don't want to throw. That's a 10 out of 10 level difficulty to be able to hit that pass. And he actually probably should have hit it. All right. So here we go again, kind of moving around the side of the pocket, right? And here, I don't know why would you do this too. Just throw it out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? This is a gunslinger. This is a gunslinger player, 100%, right? You know that it's not there, but he wants to make it happen, which I love. But you got to get that ball way out of bounds. You got to throw it high enough that people can't make that catch. Okay. Here it looks like he's going to throw it to this seam. Let's see what he does on it. Pressure's coming. Throws it. That's just an inaccurate pass. You'll be able to see it better from this angle. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really get to step into it. That was really a crazy, like, why would you even try this too? This is a tough window. I mean, he's actually kind of there. I'm going to show you the spot. I mean, I think that he probably could have got it there, but because he had that pressure, the ball kind of sails on him. That's why, you got to be able to step into throws. And, that's why it's pretty critical to have a good offensive line. I think that we all understand that. So right here, okay. So this is the one that we actually saw earlier, right? We already kind of talked about this, but I put it back in here though. You know what I'm saying? We still have a few more picks to kind of go through, but you can see what happens here. He just does not get enough on that ball. He throws it short into the inside. Never want to do that with goals or with fades. It's got to be high into the outside. That's about the only spot that you can put those passes because it can be a dangerous pass, especially with the one high look. All right. So let me see it again from this end zone angle. See what we got. Play action. Pressure's coming. Yep. Feels that pressure. And man, that actually wasn't horrible. Let me see, where's this ball end up at? Oh, yeah. So he kind of throws that behind. So the ball, you want to put the ball about here. But it's such a deep pass. I mean, that's another tough one. But that's what gunslingers do. They will force it into some crazy situations. And he's hit on some of them. You know what I mean? Like he'll actually hit on that. But you have to take that trade-off with some of those interceptions as well. So right here, that one's not on him. I mean, this one's really not on him. This is one of those crazy situations where actually, you know what? This one is a little bit on him because it is too far behind that wide receiver, but it really probably shouldn't have been picked. But you don't want to, he probably shouldn't have thrown that one either, honestly speaking, because the linebacker or safety, corner, whatever, they're on the opposite side of that wide receiver. We don't want to throw it there. Now, look at this. I mean, come on. This is covered up. That's covered up like a freaking blanket. Maybe he thought he was going to get PI right there. But if you think that, throw it a little bit more out of reach of everybody, right? Boom. And I mean, that pass should have been more to the outside any daggone way, right? See if we can try to pause in a good spot. Okay, so this is a pretty decent spot, right? So the pass really needs to be, in this situation, needs to be more to this side, okay? It needs to be low, too. It needs to be low into the outside. Those deep comeback, those outside, the pass that you throw to the outside, you would much rather miss low into the outside. You can't be high into the inside. So just wasn't accurate there. That's all that is. This is going to be a screen. This shouldn't have been an interception. Yeah. So, I had to sit again from this end zone angle. All right. So looks it off. Does a good job there. And I mean, the only thing that I could say here is in this situation, if they're holding on to your guy, throw it to the dirt. Just throw it to the dirt, right? We have to live to fight for those next downs. It's probably been 4 or 5 passes that we could say, if you just throw it, if you just throw it out of reach, you don't have as many picks, like we just talked about with these outs, you can't be late and high to the inside. This is high to the inside. That's going to be a pick. Lucky it wasn't a pick 6. Cannot do this, especially in the SEC. And Tennessee will throw some of these longer passes, right? So I think he's got the arm talent, but he's just going to have to, definitely, we cannot have that. That's probably, that's one of the most dangerous passes. We cannot see that. All right. So that's that portion of it. I'm going to try to get to some more of these chats. I don't want to keep y'all waiting. Let me see. This one right here is from Go Vols. All right. Saying that Mike Matthews is going to become a household name this year. Oh, yeah. Him and Ra Jackson both. And I think that Travis Smith is going to have a pretty big season. I think that we've got, man, listen, Braylon Staley. I think that we've got some guys inside that room right here, right now. So Eric's went on saying that he can hit a slant. Yeah, man. Tennessee didn't run a whole lot of slants last season. I think that we could do more. And so from David Speaks, saying that he can see 3,500 yards, 64%, 32 touchdowns, 7 picks, 325 yards rushing, 8. I think that that's actually pretty good numbers. This right here is from Eric 29 saying his arm talent seems fine to me. Yeah, I think his arm talent is definitely good. From Hub asking, do you think that he beats Merck for the quarterback? I don't know. I think that they're so similar. All the guys that we have, just from a talent perspective, they're so similar. As far as Joey, obviously him being older, having actually played football in college, in game situations, several games, I think 24 starts or something. He might be able to get that edge, but they also have the edge over him with understanding Tennessee's playbook. So from Daniel Webb saying that his defense reading ability is an upgrade. That part of it, I can't say that that's true. I know that people think that, but again, go back to the film study that we just kind of went through. Tennessee's offense, it's not so much really even about reading defenses. His offense isn't too much about reading defenses either. They're not really sitting here going threes, boom, 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 boom. I mean, kind of, but not like how people are talking about where, oh, man, you got to really be able to read this stuff. It's going to be more about what are the route combinations? Like, what do you have to actually work with? You got to be able to understand basic football. Like, you need to be able to understand what is the coverage that the defense is playing. Tennessee likes to run option routes. You got to get that part of it figured out. But it's not so much about the reading to me as much as it is about, hey, don't do stupid stuff. Don't throw stupid picks. And, offensive coordinator, let's give these guys an opportunity with some good route combinations so that the field is an easier look for them. So from Tristan M's, going on Tristan saying not trying to talk crap, but okay, puts him in mind of Garantano. He's too inconsistent. Yeah, I think he's better than Garantano. I mean, listen, I absolutely love Jared. I think that he had a really good skill set. Obviously, he offensive line didn't help him. I mean, he took a daggone beating, didn't he? But I think that he's got a strong enough arm. He is inconsistent, but those types of things, whenever you see the talent, you know that you can get them right. Okay. One of the questions for me would be, because he's older, he's going to be more set in his ways. I don't think that he's that old just yet. So I think that Tennessee's going to be fun as far as getting him out of some bad habits. And once he gets out of that, he should be able to operate well. Like we keep on talking about, don't throw stupid passes. Okay. Just take better care of the football from a common sense standpoint, and we should be fine. Saying that, okay, so he definitely beats Merck. Okay. That spring showed that Merck still needs time showing the field. Yeah, I think that just looking at the orange and white game for me personally, you can't take a whole lot from that. I think that Merck looks okay. Seeing the field, yeah. I definitely think that those young guys need some more reps. There's no question about that. All right, so asking if it's true that Merck was asking for more money without winning the job is crazy. In my opinion, you win the job, you get a bonus. Yeah, so I just think that a lot of people don't understand how this whole thing works. This is not like your everyday corporate 9-to-5 job. It's just not. Sports is not like that. So I understand what you're saying, but that's not how this works. What this is more of, their job could be as a backup quarterback. As the backup quarterback, your value could have gone up. Now, obviously, once Nico left, Merck was the vet inside of that room. So, yeah, he's going to be worth a pay increase. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's not like, hey, you got to go out here and prove it and then get paid. That's not how football works necessarily, because football is not a job. Like I just said, it's not a corporate 9-to-5 job where you can go out and you can work every single day, right? Football, every play could be your very last. So whenever you get the opportunity based off of maybe what you did previously, and also I would say more so based off of your talent level, based off of your ceiling, you're going to get paid more based off of that. It's not, hey, and then two, this is just college. These guys are only here for 2 or 3, or they're only here for like 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So it's not like, hey, man, prove it to me first, and then we're going to pay you. Some of these guys might not even really see the field until they're juniors. That's going to be their last season. So this one is also saying that GMAC looked better than Merck. Joey looks better than GMAC. Okay. All right, Hypo wouldn't have taken him if he didn't think that he could play in this league. Yeah, I think that that's true too. Tristan is saying that Hypo will dial offense way back, very vanilla this year, and rely on defense again. So I think that, man, we doubted. I don't like the way that it operated last season. I've been very vocal in saying that, and I still feel that way. We got to open it up. Knowing that we have already been working on pistol, I think that things will open up. Seeing some more drags and crossing patterns, I think that things will open up from that perspective. Now, the way that we operated the offense last season, it was a lot more difficult for the players to run. You're asking to throw more difficult passes. You're asking for the offensive line to hold up longer. Now, with the shorter stuff, with the underneath stuff, it's opened up, but it actually makes it easier, if that makes sense. I don't think that, again, I think that these guys have to learn this system. Joey has to learn this system. We have to see how he looks in this system. And just because he looked a certain way in the previous system does not mean that he's going to look the exact same way with Tennessee's system. So this one right here, saying that he started twice as many games as the older quarterback is dressed, 100%. So I'm going to try to get to some new people here. This one is from Aaron Duck, saying that he will look like Gaston Moore against Alabama last year. We don't know that just yet. We just don't know it just yet. I think that he's actually got a better skill set than Gaston Moore. He's got a stronger arm. He's a faster player. So this is from Unsung, saying, I wonder if the U fans are complaining about how many interceptions Beck threw last year. And that's the other thing, man. Like, looking at Carson Beck, I mean, I don't care what anybody says. He played on a juggernaut team, and people keep on bringing this up too, right? If UGA could win national championship back-to-back years with the daggum walk-on scrub playing a quarterback, well, why couldn't Carson Beck do it with pretty much the same roster, with the same level of talent? That's a joke. I mean, I don't look at everyone's numbers and say, hey, this is all equal. You just can't do that. Okay, like, there's no reason that Carson Beck at Georgia should have won the national championship last season and the season prior to that. And obviously Carson Beck got hurt. But yeah, I mean, I understand it that people are going to like nitpick at things and all of that, but I mean, come on, dude. Carson Beck's getting $4.5 million freaking dollars. If he can get it, I mean, stop it. Everyone deserves a freaking pay raise. All right, so this one is from Christopher Bailey saying it looks like he's a faster decision maker. Yep. Again, I think that a lot of that's based off of his offense. And this right here is from Tristan saying that he gets more consistent. Okay, that he's not worried, but that, like you said, that this offense will be dialed way back and we'll rely on defense again. I still think that we will probably. I think that the defense is, if we are talking about being like a playoff type team, I think that the defense will have to have a very good season yet again. So from Brian, Keith Ramsey is saying that why is everyone writing off Jake and George? I'm not writing them off by any means. I'm definitely not writing them off by any means. Okay, so I want to get into some of his touchdowns. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull that up. Let me go ahead and take this thing down. And again, y'all have to bear with me. Actually, you know what? What we can do with this one, I'll just pull this up this way, make it a little bit easier. Okay, so these are all of his touchdowns from last season. Just because I want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. Y'all got to see how he looks on a play-in, play-out basis, just as far as his passing. Now you can see some of the low light. We just saw some of the low lights. Now you can see some of the highlights, right? So again, man, it just not very consistent. Okay, so here you can feel a little bit of pressure, but the ball it's thrown better. So he can still make those throws even under pressure. That's what that's showing you. You know what I mean? And that's not an easy pass either. That's a deep pass that you got to kind of put into a spot. I think that with this offense, he might have more of an opportunity to say or to see that, hey, there is a spot that we want these footballs to be placed at, and that could help him out. Football is such a crazy thing, right? It is a game of inches. Sometimes hearing some different verbiage or hearing things and seeing things kind of broken out to you in a different way, it can open everything up from the mental standpoint of it, where, hey, this all of a sudden just clicks, and this is, of course, this is versus Clemson. You can see this, right? He was under freaking duress all game long. And this is really more of his wide receiver making something happen. But like I said, he was throwing the ball into some sticky tight covers where his wide receivers were getting mugged. And it was really nice ball placement. So part of me wanted to kind of show you some of that stuff. But I said, nah, I mean, y'all probably already seen it. So I wanted to show you more of this because y'all can always go back and watch that Clemson stuff. Some of this stuff here, you're not going to really be able to find. So I just kind of wanted this there for y'all. Because I know that everyone really wants to see how he really looks. The all 22 shows you everything, but yeah, I feel like he's got plenty of talent. And while that's running, I'm gonna get back to some more of these chats. I'm gonna try to get to some people that we haven't got to just yet. Who is this? Let's see. Who is this? Mike Vales. These idiots who never played it down are doing film breakdown. What a joke. Go Vols. So I don't know if you're talking about me, but if you are, I've definitely played football. I wouldn't be up here breaking down film if I didn't know what I was talking about. So I don't know what you're talking about, but maybe you can clear that up because I would definitely like to know what the hell you're talking about. So from TN Jr. saying, okay, yeah, so TN's asking the exact same thing. Yeah, I would love to know. Actually, let me see if I can find them. Actually, we're going to get to some more of these chats as we're going through. And let me see if I can find some new people. All right, so this one right here is from Smooth One, saying that only football players are allowed to break down film. Grow a little, yeah. Let me see here. This one right here is from PhD Music 03 saying, love the channel, bro. Keep it going. Shout out to ATL. You already know, baby. A-Town in the house. Thank you for that. Scotty Vol saying, love the channel. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for all those kind words. Let me get to this one right here from Robert saying that this is a backup to Merck. Plain and simple. I would be shocked if you started over Merck or Mac. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I don't know. I just think that we have to let this thing play out. Like I said, there will be a competition. And also, I think that that's a pretty positive thing because it's going to help us to hold on to the players that we do currently have on this roster. At least I think that it should. And, hopefully that's going to push the guys to really get better. You get ready for the season a little bit better. Whenever you feel like, hey, I might actually get to play or start this season. So from David Roberts, sorry to keep you waiting. Okay. So he thinks that he can clean up, or he thinks that the coaches can clean up the inconsistencies with him. The best. Can't wait to see our wide receivers for sure. Okay. And that's very realistic from Danny saying that Joey puts him in mind of Vanderbilt's quarterback from last year. You know what? It's funny that you said that because I was kind of thinking that too. I don't know if it's from his stature or what, but it is kind of something about him. I think that he's got a better arm though. He's not probably as good of a runner, but I think that he does have a better arm. All right. So saying that he PhD Music saying that he says that he could see him throwing for 4,000 yards. All right. Going to try to get to some different people. This one is from Keg 2071 saying that in Coach Josh Heupel, I trust. Let the chips fall where they may. 100%. I think that you have to do it. From my dog D Taylor saying that he's a gamer, not the best arm. We need to give him lots of hitches, crosses, digs, etc. to help him out. Yeah, so I actually think that he has a good arm, but sometimes it's just inconsistent. You know what I mean? I think that he's got the arm that he can make all the throws, but he's going to have to get the repetitions and work on just being consistent with all of his fundamental stuff. This one is from Element Gold saying the hype wants, okay, for sure. Saying that he looks like he's been TA guy that coach will only need to tweak it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So taught that. Okay. Got you right there. So from Tennessee Boy 87 saying that not impressed, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, listen, I can understand. I can definitely understand. From Valdol saying I think that we need to take a step back. Aguilar is a Gaston. Okay. Okay. So we will be rocking with Merck, and he will show us why LSU and Georgia were pursuing him. Yeah. So I think that we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. I know that we kind of touched on that, but we really just don't know. I think that all of these guys that we have inside of the room, their skill sets are very, very similar, very similar. So, you know, I think that we've got guys that are pretty, you know, kind of like, I'm not going to say even. Some of them do some things better. Some of them do some, you know, they have different skill sets. Maybe I should say it that way. But we will see. There will be a quarterback competition. So from there, I'm saying don't try bull. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Let's see what else we got. So just a few more. I'm gonna get to this one right here. Gaston don't got 6,700 passing yards and 56 touchdowns last time. Yeah, I think that he is more talented than Gaston Moore. I really, really do. Why don't they keep using the GoPro for eye discipline? Okay, yeah. So I thought that was why they were using it. I would definitely keep on doing it. Valdolf saying, okay, not talking about Gaston in skill set, but okay, I understand what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you. So D saying that his arm is pretty good. Not as good as Nico's. Yeah, no, it's definitely not that. But I think that Aguilar has experience and is a baller. Yeah. It's definitely not going to be as good as Nico's. Nico has a generational type of an arm. So from Danny Pritchard saying that Jake Merck Slinger is a stud. I concur with that. So that is going to be it, y'all. You know what I mean? So that was the film breakdown. I hope that y'all did. Like it. Hopefully y'all did learn something. You know, we will be seeing y'all a little bit later on. Probably be coming back tomorrow. We'll see if we have some more things transpiring inside of the transfer portal. We have several people coming up on visits, so we'll talk about that kind of as those things happen. But as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.